We need to send this in here now and wait till it's on. That's
We'll talk about it in a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to talk today about offers because we've been going over this a lot lately, haven't we, Tim? Putting together offers, receiving offers, the fun stuff. So if you're in Boldtrail, and I'm going to use, let's see, um, you don't have a listing, so I can't pull you up. What's your listing address, Tim? And I didn't mean to call you out. I was trying to think what you could see.
4010 Bremen Road.
4010 Freeman Road.
Oh,
No. I was thinking about what can we pull up, and I was thinking out loud.
We're gonna manifest the next time.
That's right. You will have one.
you will put that on TV or?
It wouldn't work last time, so I'm not gonna try. All right. So,
Also, we can all see it.
yeah. When you go into a listing, so if you're in, let me just kind of start from the beginning because you might not know exactly. When you are in the back office, you're going to scroll down to transactions. You see that in the left-hand side there? Okay. Yes. So, and I'm gonna
I
turn
just
mine.
have one, but I sent the guy a contract.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I remember that. Yeah. Okay, so you're going to scroll down to transactions and then you'll put in an address. Now, you're seeing all these here because I can see everybody's. So I got a big long list in front of me.
Good Lord.
So
New office.
I need a new office. We need a new office. I don't know though. Nobody comes to the meeting, so I don't know. All right. So whenever you want to pull up an address, if you say you've got a big long list here, if you only have one, you could just click on it. It's obvious to you. But if you got a list like I've got, you can type it in up there in that search box, and you could do the client's name, you could do the address, you could do any part of the address. So I typed in Bremen, and you can see we've got two transactions in Bremen. One is Tim's, one is Ovi's. So I'm picking Tim's right now. All right, so 401 Old Bremen Road. And let's say we had an agent call us and they want to put an offer in on this property. we can do it ourselves or we can have them do it. But what you do is you go down this side box after you pull up the property and you see down here under assets, there is offers on the left-hand side. So I pulled up the property. Oh, you can do that in Xavier. You see down there on the left-hand side where it says offers under assets?
Yes.
Click that button. Okay. Now, this one is a little bit different because you have a client, a buyer client, and this is a listing. So, all right. So if you were going to create an offer for your buyer, yes, that's exactly what I'm looking at.
Let me see.
It's just like mine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we're going to go over that way to do it in just a minute after I finish this way to do it. All right. So I pulled it up under my listing and you see you've got a link there. Now you can copy it and send it to an agent and say, send all offers to this address. Okay. So when they get that, or you could put offers in with this link, but when they get that and they click on it in their link, it's going to pull this up. They're going to have to type in their information, offer price, earnest money, loan type, lender, notes, and then they can upload their contract, their purchase, their offer. So that will be uploaded there. So let's say I'm going to do this, Tim, but don't send it to your buyer because your seller, because I'm just making it up. Okay.
Oh, I'm gonna hold you to it.
So Candy Bowen with Southern Home Real Estate.
Offers 250 for 130 house.
Okay, and my buyer's name is
How many deals you closed?
Huh?
How many deals you closed so far?
4.
Wow.
They've Auburn land.
Yeah,
right
but
in front of
still,
the house.
I'm telling you, he's turning into the land guru.
I know. And I'm the one who wanted to do the commercial, but it looked like it's just coming here.
Well,
Well, it's
if-
some stuff, he lucked out because of conversations.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I went to find out,
he said he posted on Facebook or something first.
Well, that's not how he's gotten most of these. But
saw it
yeah,
on social media.
look, we got 3 people under contract, so I posted that, then the one lady tagged me in a post telling me thank you for all my hard work when it was easy. I mean, they got the first thing they saw and then they canceled the rest of the showings that day.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Well, they looked at one more and she wouldn't even get out of the car. She said, no, I don't want to even look at it.
Okay, so I typed in my information. Any other offering agents would do the same thing. I uploaded my offer and I hit submit offer.
So
What did I
you can
miss?
delete that. That's just going.
Yes.
Already got like 9 million offers in there.
Yes, I will delete it. Okay, let's say my offer is 200,000. Let's just shoot for the moon. My earnest money is 2,000. It's cash, no lender, no contingencies. Don't you love that? All right, so I submit my offer. My offer has been submitted. You'll get this right here. And if another agent submits an offer, you'll get an email, so you will know. I mean, most of the time, if I submit an offer, I'm gonna give them a text or a call and let them know to look for one, because I don't wait for them to check their email, because they don't, or it gets lost, but I let them know I got one coming. But so once you've got an offer in your listing, you've got a button here that says offer details. And you can see everything that was just put in. That was the offer. And now if I go out of that, let's see, and I look at
So would it be
offers.
better like when we get new listings, just to copy that and put it in the MLS and stuff?
You can, but I would put it in private comments, because
You don't know about that.
no, not that. It's just the MLS will kick it out as a website or something. So put it in private comments. So you just tell agents to submit all offers to this link. Yeah. And then-
Much easier.
And then it would prevent you from having to go in and upload everything, because it's already right there in your transaction. So it's very easy to manipulate the contact information. The other agents done half your work for you. They've typed everything in already. So when you hit your offer button now, you'll see you've got an offer that's received under your listing. And you can, if you had 5 offers, they would all be here. They'd all be listed right here in this list. And then you can go in, you can counter, you can do whatever you need to do, but you can work with that offer right here before you ever put it in your transaction, because it's not been approved or accepted or anything. So you're just working with it right there in that offer section until it's accepted. And then at that point, we'll move it up here into our checklist.
And that's just a matter of clicking on it and putting a sign to over here.
Let me move this box out of the way. So if you can either approve or reject.
Okay.
Once you hit approve, it's going to ask you to assign it to I'm not going to do it because it'll go in there.
Right.
But once you hit approve, it will automatically ask you to add it to a checklist, and you can add it to the checklist
And
you
that's
want
the
to.
one that you'll be,
That's
the one you accept, and that's the one you approve.
yes, everything else you're going to reject.
I would say you go ahead and reject.
You
them.
reject them. If you approve one of them, you reject the rest of them.
You don't
Yes.
just hold them and wait and see.
I mean, on that house, I might. Just because stuff goes on and off so fast with that one, you could leave them there for a little while.
Yeah.
And then if you see it's gonna close, then reject the rest of them at
It
that
just
point.
makes sense that the past 2 people didn't show up.
Mhm.
And I almost said because they drove by and seen all the junk in the yard.
Mm-hmm,
They didn't want to look at it.
right.
I mean, I don't want to tell them that.
You can't, you gotta tell them.
Well, I mean, I would have a conversation with them and just let them know, don't put it on you, put it on feedback. The other agents' clients didn't want to
That's a
stop because of all the stuff.
Yeah.
That no way, you're not the one telling them, it's feedback from the other agent.
It's unattractive.
It's unattractive. And if they would clean up, then we could get more people in there.
Right.
So anyway, all right. So that's the way you do an offer on a listing. And then again, once it's approved, you just hit approved. It will ask you to assign it to a checklist. And then you'll pick the one that you want to assign it to, the checklist, and then it'll automatically populate the documents into that checklist so you can work to the closing. Okay, so now I'm going to, let's see, I'm going to get rid of this offer.
I'm gonna click off.
Boldtrail has training on June 2nd. I just went to save my seat because I saw the email come through. For newbies or something like that.
Uh-oh, new offer for 200,000.
See, there's this message.
Send you a message.
Okay, so Kelly, what was your client's name that you put in there?
Xavier Smith.
So I typed his name and you see it popped up on my list here. I'm going to select it. So you're working with a buyer. You found a house they want. They want to put in an offer. You pull them up in that transaction. You go down to offers.
See, you and Wendy do stuff different. But I don't know if y'all. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Create offer. You can create a new offer or you can search the MLS. So let's look at Tim's address again. It is Old Bremen Road
401.
4010. Let me just find
Not
that.
4010, 401.
Old. That's where I kept messing up. Okay. Let me see. I'm gonna find the MLS. 401 Old Freeman
When we
Road.
was doing this the other day, you said it won't save it or something.
Well, it won't, but they supposedly fixed that, so we're fixing to find out. And I found that if you create the checklist within that offer, that's what I was not doing initially.
Okay.
You don't happen to know the MLS? Oh, there it goes.
How beautiful that land is.
Is it off market?
No.
Maybe it was listed before. 7704701.
A lot of times when y'all post in the group chat about properties, I don't have anybody that's looking out this way.
And if you're looking for a commercial, I always got that land in Charlton that's potential. I think that's potential commercial.
I don't know, but she works more towards Atlanta, so yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you put in the MLS and it'll pop up the address there. You can select the address. And then you can put in your okay, see here what says checklist?
Mm-hmm.
That's what we need to select. Offer. That's what I was not doing. And that's why I was losing information. So yes, this is the way you do it. That's not the way I was doing it before, and you're right. But select offer. It'll create an offer checklist and populate those forms that you need for an offer in that. I did not realize that I was not doing that before, but I found that out when I went to that class. Financing, let's say cash, closing date, let's just say Tuesday. All right, and then here's where you can pick who you want to be part of this transaction. So the buyer's in there. Kelly's the agent. She's in here. Usually we're not going to have seller information, so we'll just remove that. We'll let the other agent take care of that part. So we'll just get rid of them right here and remove them. The brokerage doesn't have to sign anything. We can leave them in there though as a contact, just so it'll populate all the information.
Okay.
You can also add the closing attorney, the lender, anybody else that you want to be part of this transaction. You can put their contact information here. Some of them that we use regularly are already going to be in here. Like for instance, let's say
Who do y'all use as a closing attorney?
there's
The lender is in charge of that, right?
No, absolutely not. We pick it when we're either unless the buyer
unless
the buyer has somebody they want to use. 9 times out of 10 they don't know anybody.
I tried to find one. There was like one that you could find when we were closing on our house. Navy Fed said, "Hey, we have a closing
I don't know
attorney,
if
but you can find one."
Yeah.
And
We have one that's a mobile attorney, Eric. What's his last name?
Logan.
And he will come to the office or meet wherever.
wherever they're located.
So we use him a lot. I'm closing this afternoon across the street at McMahon.
Okay,
We've closed at Vaughn, which is down here, a few doors down here.
okay,
Douglasville, Rob Coates, he's on 78,
okay.
right in town.
Gotcha.
But yeah, you can use anybody. What I typically try to do is get as close to the house or the
Okay.
property
That's fine.
as possible, just because it makes more sense. You know, if I'm closing a house in Kennesaw, I'm not gonna put a Villarica closing attorney because that's not convenient for anybody, you know.
I had to drive to like Sandy Springs to
Mhm.
close on my Douglasville home
Well, that's just because,
back then.
yeah, well, and
Now
a
they
lot
come
of
to you
times
now.
you have to watch it. Listing agents will try to make it convenient for them, and they will try to get you to close
That's what I was just.
at their office or at their attorney. That
Well,
might
this was the
be,
builder,
yeah,
so
So
I guess
it's-
they are hurting this. So I don't know what
right.
was happening.
And that pops up a lot when you are dealing with foreclosures, builders. They'll have a
They'll have-
designated
yeah.
closing attorney.
And
that-
we didn't have to use them. Navy Fed made it clear we didn't have to use them, but
Mhm.
we couldn't find anybody. We
Yeah.
don't know anybody. It's not like it's
The
something.
one
you
I
know,
just dealt with, texted me and said, one more thing, because I know it's gonna be an issue with the seller. Where is there located, because he's not gonna wanna drive a long way, so.
Mhm.
And I said, well, who comes to us in Roll Record?
Yeah.
Anyway,
It was like an hour-long drive in the middle of the day
Yeah.
from Douglasville to
And,
Sandy.
you know, you used to
Springs.
see it a lot more. I mean, especially when foreclosures were really prevalent, we would have to drive to downtown Atlanta for closings all the time.
Really?
We didn't have a choice. We had to close where they wanted. HUD houses, we used to have to close in Atlanta, but now they opened it up. So as long as the,
Since COVID.
well, no, it was before that even. That as long as the closing attorney is registered with, say, HUD, that if they're registered with them, then you can close with whoever the buyer chooses. So ultimately, it's the buyer's choice, but the seller can designate who they want or request. And with builders, banks, that kind of thing, they may demand that you use their attorney. You just kind of have to play it by ear. Otherwise, though, you can choose who you want.
When
Yeah.
we refinanced our house, the closing attorney came to us.
Mm-hmm.
They actually
They do
came
that
to
a
our
lot.
house and closed.
Yeah,
you know.
that's happened when I did a refinance on one of my houses. And a lot of times they're not necessarily an attorney, they're just a signing
Notary.
agent.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
If,
yeah.
while we're going over this, I don't know if this will be helpful to you, but it might be to me later, because it's something I was curious about, like. Putting an offer in for a customer, just say I gotta listen and I'm handling them as a customer,
Mhm.
is that a different?
It's the
process?
same process, you just check it on the contract. It'll say representing Southern Home Real Estate. It'll have a section for the seller and the buyer, and it'll have client or customer. You just check
You
the
don't
other
have to
box.
send them a brokerage agreement or not?
No, no. I mean, if they're a customer, then it's on your listing. You're not gonna want to work with a customer if you don't have any other tie. Unless, yes, unless you got somebody that don't want to be represented, but they want you to handle the documents, then yes, you would get a written agreement to make sure you get paid. So that's kind of a tricky situation there.
I just meant like the one that I might have Sunday,
Mhm.
I know I got it, but, she said that she'd rather me handle them as a customer.
Is this your listing?
Yeah, it's the one I'm gonna get.
Yeah. So if it's your listing, yes, you working with the buyer as a customer, that's not unusual. If it's not your listing, you're gonna have to have a written agreement with that person. You can be they can be your customer, but you need something to protect that you get paid.
Right,
Yes.
I just meant on that, because I didn't know
Yes.
if there's a different
No,
process. to
you
do.
just check it on the form, on the offer that you're working with that person as a customer, not a client. And you would submit the offer exactly the same
You
way.
still need to vet them and get them to send you the pre-approvals and all
Yes.
that, same
Yes.
way you would.
Yes.
with a client.
But, you know, they're on their own if they're working as a customer, but to be honest, I don't never work with somebody as a customer. I work with a client, but I know what you're saying because your client doesn't want you to represent. In that case, we talked about before, a possible designated agency. Because I would prefer that person be represented by somebody.
Right.
So, well, you know,
Because it helps you in the long run, if something comes back, then they'll say, well, you just.
well, yeah, I mean, you know, it's on them, but at the same time, we have the duty to disclose, so I would just, when that comes up, let's just look at it as it comes up and deal with it and see what we need to do, because I don't like for a bar to go unrepresented. So anyway,
Plus, it could be helpful to other agents.
whatever we need to do to get it sold is the biggest thing, but at the same time, we need to protect buyers and sellers. Yeah. All right, so you can add anybody else to this transaction, whoever you want to add. Then down here it'll ask, is the seller side represented by? If it's represented by us, you can check it's one of our listings. If it's another company contact that's already in here, you could check it. Or no seller yet. A lot of times, if I don't know, I just put no seller yet, and we'll deal with that later because we can always go back and add it and not worry about it. So we're creating an offer. All right, and then you're going to pop up with this screen. And then if you look here on you'll check this blue button, you'll see all the documents populated because I added that checklist. Buyer's brokerage agreement, purchase and sale agreement, disclosures, finance contingency. So not everything that you need might be here, but the basic documents will be there. And you can check on those and you can add to those. So if you're going to write an offer, I checked on that. And here we go.
So on your boat trails, since you have an Alabama license, does it pull up the Alabama forms on boat trails for you?
Yes. No, it's there. Mhm. All right, so we clicked on purchase and sale agreement. I'm gonna come over to these dots and I'm gonna use those forms. Then it's gonna add the form. So right here, it added the purchase and sale agreement and the broker compensation exhibit. Now, it might not necessarily add everything you need. At that point, you can add more forms, just like you would if you were doing an offer anywhere else. So you can add whatever forms you need. You can upload any documents, their pre-approval. If you have a survey, any other documents that are not, these are just going to be like GAR forms where it says add more forms. Attach a document's going to be anything that you would have outside of that. So any other documents. So let's say the listing agent sent you the seller's disclosure and it's on your computer as a PDF. You can upload that right here. So whatever you need to add to the contract, you're going to add it to it at this point.
Did y'all hear that?
What? That ringing?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's from the ring at my house, but I have it set on my phone to alert me, but it's like loud. Okay.
Yeah, you heard it. So, things that you're going to want to make sure that you've got in an offer. Okay, number one, it's purchase and sale agreement. Number two, you're going to have a financial contingency in most cases, whether it be FHA, USDA, conventional, or cash. Whatever, you're going to tell them where the money's coming from.
Yeah.
You're going to have a broker's compensation agreement. That's how you get paid. That's one form you better make sure is in there, because if you send an offer without requesting compensation, they're under no obligation to pay you. So that's a form that you better make sure is in there.
My first one, I had to say, hey.
I forgot.
Sorry, I forgot.
Yeah. So that's one that we want to make sure. Purchase agreement, financial contingency, buyer's broker compensation. If it's built before 1978, lead-based paint. So if you've got a copy of the seller's disclosure, go ahead and attach it to the agreement, because that way your client knows the condition of the property as far as everything that was disclosed.
What's it called?
Seller's property disclosure.
Seller's property disclosure.
Yes.
What was it's buyer's contingency?
Buyer's brokerage agreement, buyer's broker.
Purchase agreement, buyer's.
Financial
contingency.
Yes.
Basically.
Yes. Buyer's broker compensation agreement. That's where you get paid. That's how much you're saying that you want to be paid in that transaction if you're trying to get it from the seller.
Wait.
Okay.
Because I have seller's property.
Okay, you have purchase and sale agreement, financial contingency.
Mm-hmm.
You got the seller's property disclosure that we just talked about. And then you're going to have buyer's broker compensation agreement.
Okay.
So, those are the main things that you're gonna have within an offer. You may have other things. Let's say, for instance, your buyer has to sell a house before they can close. In that situation, you're gonna add a contingency to sell or lease buyer's property.
And that's usually like when it goes under contract, was have a kick out.
Okay, that's an option. It's an option on that particular agreement, whether or not it will have a kick out.
Oh.
And a kick out is, let's say, for instance, a seller agrees to accept your offer, even though they know your client has to sell their house first. On that particular contract, exhibit, it's gonna say, is the house listed already? Who's it listed with? How much is it listed for? Is it under contract already? Is it supposed to close already? And then there's another section that says kick out. And what a kick out is if they do say, yeah, we'll do this, but we want a kick out clause, what that means is if we get another offer in that we want to accept before you sell your house, then you've got so many days to remove this contingency, or we're gonna go with the other offer. So,
That's what I was curious about, because I was saying a lot that says kick out, and I usually just move on.
no, that's not necessarily, I wouldn't move on, because that's what that means, is they will accept another offer. In most cases, a buyer is not gonna wanna do a kick out, because if they can't buy without selling their house, they can't remove that contingency.
Right.
But some people can. Some people just don't want to. But if they want that house bad enough and they qualify for buying it without selling, then they may, okay, I'll remove the contingency and we'll go ahead and close if they think they're going to lose it.
Mhm.
So that is a possibility. You know, as long as they qualify for both payments, they could still buy. You know,
And they
so
could do a bridge loan.
they could do a bridge loan. Yes. So
I'm learning.
yes.
Wait, what?
you are.
Wait, I remember the bridge loan, but I thought that was different. I thought that was more when you were like, building, like, new construction.
It could be,
So-
but there are certain lenders. Matter of fact, one that I work with, she has a program through a third party that does a guaranteed cash offer. Now, they're not great. They're not great offers, but they are a guaranteed offer.
Yeah.
And what they do is they give you that so that you can go ahead and buy another house.
Right.
And they give you so many months after you do that to sell your house. But in the meantime, they have a bridge loan in place.
They're gonna help you cover your expenses for the existing.
Right.
Okay.
Now, if you sell it within that time frame, you can sell it for whatever you want to. But if after that time frame you have not sold it, then you have to take their cash offer so that they can move it.
Which is gonna be, I'm sure, lower.
Lower,
Which
a
is-
lot lower.
yeah.
But some people don't care. They just want it
Right,
out.
right,
They
right,
want to move
right,
on.
right,
But
yeah.
yes, that's absolutely an option. So that kick out clause in a contingency to sell or lease buyer's property is important. So if you have that come up, you want to look at that. Most of the time, if you're representing a buyer, you want to make sure it's not there. If you're representing a seller, you're going to want to ask for it, because you don't want to eliminate your time on the market with being tied up with something that may not ever close.
But
So
isn't that supposed to be in that purchase agreement, in that, that first agreement? I haven't been through the process yet, but I remember we put our house up for sale, I told y'all, in 2021, because it was like double. We knew, we did it like, we get double,
right.
Thank goodness we didn't do that, but we
Yeah.
did. And so, there were, like, everything was in the contract as far as contingencies are concerned, which I don't think there were any that I could think of, but there was, I thought everything would be right in there. I think that's how I learned.
Years
That's
ago.
how I learned it. And
Well, to be honest, years ago, everything used to be in the contract, and then at some point in time, they started adding everything as exhibits and pulling it out of the main contract. And I can't tell you a time frame when that happened, but every year they change it. And it's frustrating because it used to be a very simplified process, and now it's a bunch of extra forms for everything.
exhibits,
Exhibits and exhibits and exhibits, and I personally find that stuff can be forgotten and left out because of that, but that's part of why we gotta be very diligent, making sure everything is there. And it might change next year. The exhibits will change. Every year they change, you know, so that's one class that we do at the beginning of every year. Once they pull out the new documents, we'll go over the changes so that everybody's aware. Look out for this, for that, or this now reads this way or that way. And every year they change. It's frustrating.
And then
You know-
y'all have two states to worry about.
Yeah.
Does it vary much, or is it pretty much the same? With Alabama and Georgia?
Yeah.
Is there
It's
a lot
very
of
different.
variance?
Very
Oh,
different.
wow.
Absolutely. Alabama's documents are very simple compared to Georgia. Yeah. So you really have to make sure you protect your clients in Alabama.
Gotcha.
You really do. And Alabama's a buyer beware state, meaning everything doesn't have to be
I
disclosed.
knew you were gonna say that. You said buyer beware.
Yes. So
Alabama's a year behind Georgia.
I don't know about a
You
year.
said a year?
More than a year.
I don't know about a year. The documents are very mundane.
I remember
So
when I've got a lot of family and I go visit.
You said they were like 5 years, 10 years behind.
I don't know. I mean, it's because they're very simplified documents. I mean, I'd have to go way back to the beginning of my career.
They say, have you heard this new song? I'm like, yeah, last year. Last year. And they're like, no, it just came out. I'm like, yeah, last year.
But yeah, Alabama documents are very simplified, and you really have to make sure you add everything that you need to in special stipulations or somehow address it because they are very simple. Price, who pays this, and that's about it. There's not a lot of legality in Alabama documents like there is in Georgia, but it's a little different. But again, you got to protect your buyer, and so it's up to you to make sure everything you need to make sure is in that document. So yeah. So I mean, back to the offers. So we have the purchase agreement, we have the financial contingency, we have the buyer's brokerage compensation, we have the seller's disclosure. If they have to sell a property, we've got that contingency to sell, buy, or lease. You know, sometimes they can just lease it out. Buyer's property. And you know, it could go on, but there's, you know, depending upon the situation, there's probably a document for it. So, you know, if you have something strange come up, just reach out. If you don't see a document, I mean, you can look at the GAR forms and kind of look through them, but if you don't see something or you got a question, feel free to reach out. We'll kind of direct you in the right direction on which document. But those are the main ones that you're going to always see, you know. Sometimes on the contract, the
Everybody's feeling so now.
I got it closing at 12, so
Oh, you did say that.
I got people are talking about it.
Is
but
it a property? I
Yeah.
mean, is it a residential?
It's a house,
Oh,
yes,
okay.
yes.
Is it a big one, small?
It's a split foyer.
It's yours.
Like a bi-level?
Is it your list?
That one closes on June 2nd.
The one in, no,
June 2nd.
what that sale for? Never mind.
250.
Okay. Yeah, it's worth it.
Yeah, well, it appraised for 260 something. So it's below appraisal. But it's old. Got a lot of old stuff. Where was that at? Oh, let's say for instance, on your agreement, the seller does not want to give them possession at closing. They won't say 3 days after closing. And there's a line there that says possession,
Right.
and it'll say at closing, or it'll say so many days after closing. And you say they want 3 days. Now, if that's the case, you're going to do a temporary occupancy agreement, which has them sign, which is basically like a mini lease for those 3 days, because they don't, and I don't like to do them. And if I do them, I do them for very short periods of time. Because technically, if they don't leave, then your buyer's got to evict them. So it's not for 1 or 2 days after closing, 3 maybe, I'm okay. But when they start getting into like months,
Right, you can't do that.
Yeah,
Because now I'm paying a mortgage.
exactly. Exactly. Now I had one last year where they needed so many days because the seller was buying a new construction. It wasn't going to be ready. We agreed to, I think it was 30 days, and they paid the buyer rent, and you can put that in there.
Yeah.
But then we had the problem where the house was still not ready.
Kept dragging.
It kept dragging, and we had to get ugly and say, sorry, you gotta make other arrangements.
Right.
We got to be out of where we are.
Right, the buyer gotta go too.
Exactly.
Right.
So
Right.
we had to threaten legal, but they moved. So it worked out. But just be aware that could be a potential problem. So that's something you need to advise your buyers.
We
You know,
ended up living in a hotel. I don't know if I told y'all that story. We lived in a hotel for 5 weeks before we closed on our property because we were renting a townhouse and we told them we'd be moving out by this date. And it was like, say, the Memorial Day weekend of 2017. Well, they decided to sell the house. So they had a buyer and everything ready. So they asked us for like 2 months because our lease, we extended it a couple months so we could close on the new house.
Mhm.
And they kept saying, are you sure you're, and we were like, yeah, everything's on track. And then it
and then it wasn't. Yeah, I know it's very
but our plan
frustrating.
B was to just move out, and they said, yeah, we can't do it. I was like, that's fine.
So I will need help. I mean, well, because that's a weird
Okay.
circumstance.
All right.
Like the same as last.
All right. We'll look at it when we get done. But yeah, those things come up, and then you got to deal, make your buyer aware of the possibilities. And that's what is part of our representation, is to kind of put all the possibilities in front of them. We know we don't want to be the downer Debbie, but we want to
Right.
say, this could possibly happen. I want you to be aware so that it's not a surprise when and if it does.
And prepare.
And prepare. Be prepared for
have
that.
a plan B.
Have a
C.
plan B.
Yeah.
Exactly. So again, any number of exhibits can be attached to those offers, and then all along, any changes that are made throughout the process, amendments will be, added. That could be, let's say they made the offer in the husband's name, and then they decide they want to add the wife to it, so they'll send you an amendment that says we're going to add so and so to the contract. That becomes part of the contract. Sometimes they and then after they do their inspection, they're going to do an amendment to address concerns, and that's where they're going to list what they want fixed, or they're going to cancel the contract at that point. So if during their due diligence, which is part of the original offer, we give them so many days due diligence, whether it be your buyer or an offer that you got for your seller. Let's say it was 10 days due diligence. During that 10 days, the buyer can walk away for any reason whatsoever. They don't have to have a reason. They don't have to do an inspection. They have no obligation to buy. They've got 10 days to figure that out.
And from what day? Because that's what
Binding agreement day.
Yeah.
Every date on the contract is from binding
And
agreement
you gotta
day.
be careful how they word it, if it's weekdays or business days versus weekend days. Because I have one that counted weekend days, so I could have went after the earnings money.
Now, the way the contract is written, every day counts.
from the time they sign the contract.
From the binding agreement date, not the day we make the offer, the day everybody signs it, and the binding date is filled in at the bottom by the last person to receive it. That's your binding agreement date. Every day in your offer goes by that day. And it is actual days, unless it is something spelled out in special steps. They have to write it in that it's business days only, or holidays don't count, or it's why it's important to read that section, because all of your main numbers are on that first page. But they might sneak something in and then special steps at the end, so you need to read that
And
too.
that's on you.
That's right. You need to check that document, make sure they didn't cross things out or add things in, or so just because somebody says, okay, we accepted your offer, well, I'm gonna look at that document, make sure they didn't change anything, because if they changed anything, that's a counter offer, so.
Yeah, that's
That's
So-
where my contract auditing background comes in handy, because I read through contracts like nobody.
I'm getting better at it because I've really,
Got caught.
no, I mean, I've looked at it and I'm like, wait a minute, what is this mean?
Yes, questioning things.
On the due diligence, like in my situation with them, I told her when I got the earnest money check, I said, y'all, it's 21 days ago, right? I said, I think Clayton Homes takes care of most of that due diligence for you, but if there's any concerns, like checking out the neighborhood.
Right,
different
then
things.
they're gonna wanna do that on their own. Yes.
When you hear people say to you multiple times, nobody's ever asked me that. I don't know. Let me check on that. that's when you know that you dig through the contract. I come back and say, hey, what does this mean right here, this clause you have? I don't
Okay.
understand. Can you
Right,
know,
right.
explain or expand?
And the biggest part of that is gonna be stuff they added in special steps, because the GAR form is standard, it's the form we use all the time. But when they start changing things up in special steps, that's where we have to really be diligent and make sure we know exactly what they mean by that. What is going on with that. So that's where they'll start changing, how days are counted, how, who's responsible for this or that. So that's a very important section to be sure that you are very comfortable with what's worded there. So, so during that due diligence, they will have inspections. They'll be able to check out the neighborhood. They'll do whatever they want that makes them comfortable about buying that house, land, or commercial building, whatever it is. They have got that opportunity to review documents. Like, for instance, if it's a commercial building and there's leases and they want to review all the leases or whatever the case may be, that is the time that they need to be doing that within that block of time. Right. So before that ends, we're going to submit a amendment to address concerns, or we're going to terminate the contract. Either way, however they want to go. Amendment to address concerns is where we would list any repairs we want made, anything we want to add that we want them to leave, any changes we want to make to the contract, anything that eliminates whatever concerns they have. That is the document to do it in.
Is that in Boldtrail as well?
That'll be a GAR form in Boldtrail, yes.
Okay.
It's an amendment to address concerns. And if an agent asks you for a ATAC, that's what they're talking about. Because
I have to look at it.
Because agents love to use initials.
First time they said instructions to close an attorney.
TCA.
Yeah, oh crap, what is it?
Yeah, they reduce everything to initials, so that's what that is. Or they'll say, I need your F511. That's the closing attorney that's holding earnest money. So that's another document that we can add that I didn't add. If we want the closing attorney to hold earnest money, that is closing attorney holds earnest money, and then there's another form that goes along with that is agreement of closing attorney to hold earnest money.
And I need to text Mike and ask him for his instructions to close his ITCA now or wait till close.
We got a long way to close, and I wouldn't worry about it.
What's IT again?
Instruction to close. Instructions to close an attorney is where you put the compensation for both brokers so that the closing attorney knows how to designate that. And that'll usually come. That's not necessarily something you have to do at the beginning, but before it closes, they'll be asking for that.
And Eric, he'll reach out to you.
Yes, but I think we're a little bit preliminary, being that closing's not until July. I wouldn't do it right away. I'd let them get through their due diligence, because they've got to, do perk tests and all that. And if something doesn't, there's no need in him doing title work and stuff if it don't go through.
So we send it to him after.
We could, or you could just let him know. You could send it and just with a note that this is not going to close till July. I'm just giving you a heads up, but it's nothing he's got to jump on right away. Okay. All right. So we got the amendment to address concerns. All right. Either they're going to, at that point, you're basically back at the negotiating table again, because the seller can say, nope, I'm not going to do it. Or I'll do this, but I'm not going to do that. And then you got to go back and forth and figure out how you're going to solve that problem. And then once that's all worked out, you're back on track. And then the appraisal comes in and there's more problems. So that's why I don't get excited until I get past all that stuff.
I've learned that, but I also learned it from other people like Candy. Negotiating skills, like I thought that was amazing. Like you got them to cut that kudzu. I wouldn't have thought about that.
What is it called?
Kudzu. You know that
Kudzu.
Kudzu.
Oh,
Vine, the vine that's invasive. You know that kudzu vine that grows all over everything?
I know about the vines that grow.
Yeah, that's what it
Well,
is.
the whole land was
You
covered.
got him to cut it?
I got him to bush hog it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
See, I mean, that's something, because
because they wanted to see how the land laid, and they
Yeah.
couldn't because of the
Right,
kudzu.
right.
And I like to pretend like I would have did a great job representing them, but after watching Kenya, I'm like, I don't know shit. I'm sorry.
No,
Well,
it's
they've been in the game for a long
I
time.
know. I was like, everything she was doing.
25?
22.
I know y'all said 20. I know it's over
22 and 23 for Wendy. She's a little about 23 or 24. She's 1 or 2 years before I got mine. Her first sale was my house, actually.
Well, I met a lady at the
That
Villa
house is for
Rica,
sale.
the
Is it?
Mirror Lake at South Harbor.
Uh-huh.
Her name is Kim.
Emerson.
She said, when I told her who my brokers were, she says, "Oh my goodness," she said, "Larry and Wendy sold me my first home." Or no, she was the realtor.
Yes.
She actually represented them when they
Yes.
bought their
When
first
they
home.
bought their first
And
home.
then after that, she said, I started working for the builders.
Yeah.
She's been with the builder.
She
She
had.
said 20 something years. She's going on 60. So she was
Mhm.
like, it's been like 25.
Yes.
Y'all's house was a Cape Cod down that road.
Up on the hill.
I'm pretty sure that I've just seen it.
Oh.
today.
The Wendy's was the one at Lookout Drive, which was right off of Parkway Circle back down that road. Mine was the Cape Cod on Parkway Circle with a split row.
That's the one.
Oh, I'll have to
Cape
look
Cod
at it.
as the style? Is that
Yes,
the style?
the style of
Okay.
house, yeah. But yeah, Kim worked with us. Actually, she married the broker when we worked for Century
Oh, wow.
21. And they're divorced now, but anyway.
Yeah, she said she had like a 30-something-year-old son.
Mhm.
But she didn't look it. I said, you don't look like you're pushing 60.
Yeah, she's a pretty lady.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah.
She's
Kim Emerson. Yeah.
Angle?
No, I think she's
I
married.
think she did mention being married.
Yeah, she is married.
But she has a son that's like 30 something.
Yeah.
She doesn't look her age. She looks, and you
Yeah,
can tell
she looks
she's well
good.
put together.
She
Like,
looks good. Yeah, she's a sweetie too.
Yeah, she is. She's very
I really like
I was
Kim.
over there a bunch of times. I made a couple videos because my cousins, who are cash buyers that live in Columbia, South Carolina, they're looking for a house here.
Uh-huh.
And they currently live on a golf course. They currently have an all brick. So
Mhm.
Villa Rica, South Harbor at Mirror Lake, they have an all brick. That
Mhm.
builder, that particular
particular
builder,
one.
Adams Homes. Is
Have
I
you-
got a realtor in South Carolina, because I know one that I could give you to refer them to if
Oh.
they're selling your house.
They're looking, they want to find something first. They said they don't even have to sell it first in order to buy.
Mhm.
Because if it's a great deal, like that deal South Harbor for $450, they could get a brand new all brick golf course / country club community.
Mhm.
You know, similar to
Have you looked at the Georgian too? Also,
I didn't look at it because I found out they really don't want to be that far out.
I got you.
But Wendy did tell me about that. 'Cause
Yeah.
I called her when I met Kim and I said, "Hey, Kim said, I know somebody that knows you." And then I told
Yeah.
her, she was like,
Oh yeah, we all
said y'all were good people. She's like, "I love they're good people." I said, "I know."
Yeah, Kim's a sweetie. Kim's a sweetie.
That one is in Paulding, and then
Mhm.
there's another one, Hiram, but almost like what's above Hiram? Canton maybe or something.
Kennesaw, Atworth.
Apworth.
Uh-huh.
She said it's almost because I said, well, Hiram, that's close by, like Douglas, but that's not too far. She's like, no, but it's like upper, like almost Apworth.
I gotcha.
So yeah, they were just a little farther out. They didn't even. This was even far because they want to be close to the airport. My
Okay.
cousin's husband, he travels a lot, like every week.
Well, there's some good houses in Winston.
Yeah, not golf cart. No, well,
Well, it doesn't have to be
Don't
golf
have to be
course.
golf
It
course.
don't have to be. Their demand
Chapel
is
Hill.
it has to be all
Chapel
brick.
Hills. Chapel Hills.
But it has the thing is, so then I found out it has to be all brick. It has to have a side entry garage, 3-car garage. There's very specific.
Okay.
Master on main.
There's
Master on main.
there's artists and sports stars live in Chapel Hill.
Yeah, no, I found out Kim knew, and I just found out
I'm gonna
yesterday.
stop this now.
I'm the chairwoman of the Douglasville Parks and Recreation Advisory Board, and one of our board members got a piece. He's in the athletic.